the Mississippi Crop Situation Podcast featuring the Crop Doctors.
Good morning from the Row Crop Short Course in Starkville. We're here with another one of our platinum sponsors, Lawson Priest from FMC. Lawson, good morning, buddy.
Good morning, Jason. Good to be here.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, I jumped the gun. That record button has got a hair trigger today. That's like the fourth time I've hit the button when I didn't mean to hit the button.
And you're going to have one of us talking over the music in there?
Yeah, I think it's because I'm doing it with my left hand.
That adds a little bit of raw nature.
My left hand is not useful for much besides carrying stuff. Driving, I drive with my left hand.
It just hangs there. Well, I'll take over for just a second. We really appreciate the sponsorship. I mean, that's something we tell everybody. We need to tell you all that constantly, that we appreciate the relationship we have with you personally and FMC as well, and then also the sponsorship, because we wouldn't be able to do this meeting without y'all's generous contributions.
Oh, yeah, we're glad to do it. I think this meeting here is a great meeting. It's very educational. It is awesome just to be a part of it and be here.
Is this the first time you've been to it? I mean, I know you hadn't always been with FMC, but is this the first time you've come over here for this one?
No, I've been here a couple years now. I think this is my third year at the short course. This is going to be my first time speaking, so we'll see how it goes.
Don't be nervous, man.
Yeah.
Are you on today?
I am.
Yeah, today's the big day as far as numbers go. So I don't have any idea. Hadn't seen Trent this morning to ask him.
I honestly haven't even been down in the room. I've been back here all day.
Yeah, no, I certainly hadn't been.
I haven't walked down the hallway or anything. I got a cup of coffee this morning. I came straight in here.
So, Lawson, tell us what's going on with FMC. I know y'all got a lot of stuff going on right now for growers in our state.
Right now we're getting a lot of questions on fall burn down. I think we're getting to the later end of the season with fall burn down, but products like Anthem Max, Anthem Flex going out, and then Command for that soybean rice rotation. So, a lot of questions we're getting really revolves around Command, what use rate, and some of those things, if you're going back to rice, we want to be cautious on coarse soils, which I know there's not a lot of in Mississippi, but when you get into other regions, there is some rice planted on coarse soils, so we need to be cautious on using too high of a Command rate in that situation, just so we don't whiten rice the following spring.
So what is the rate for a fall application of Command?
Well, it varies on soil texture. So those really heavy grounds, we're going to be around 24 ounces, the gumbo grounds, and then on medium textured soil around 16. And coarse gets a little tricky. We try to stick around that medium textured soil with Command.
Yeah, I would think most of our rice ground, Tom, is going to go from clay to some version of mixed. We're not going to have any coarse stuff. If it is, it's going to be just a sand vein somewhere. It's probably not going to hold water anyway.
It's been a bunch of years since we planted much rice on anything that's less than pretty much a gumbo.
Yeah. And the row rice changes that dynamic some.
That's
we
true.
Don't need to dive off into that. We could talk about that the rest of the morning. But for the most part, we're a clay soil rice state. And Anthem, both of those products have done really good as fall treatments, really complemented the other stuff that we've had from years gone by. So those, along with Command, they've done good for us.
What about some other things in the portfolio?
It seems like it's data season in my role, so we're getting a lot of data back right now and trying to sift through it and keep it all organized. But we had quite an extensive, and Peyton Pfizer, John Lee, Layton, all down here in Mississippi, the retail marketing managers for FMC did a good job getting on-farm demos out. And we've got 11 on-farm trials back from Mississippi and Arkansas and Louisiana with Xyway, which is a plant fungicide option. And in 2023, Xyway was granted a 2EE label for side dress applications to be mixed with UAN. And our recommendations try to keep it at least 6 inches close to the row, close to those corn plants. But the on-farm demo work that's coming back has looked really impressive. So we're excited about it. We're seeing about 11 bushel bump when we use Xyway in a side dress application, which I think will be a lot more applicable for growers in the Mid-South.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we've looked at it, and unfortunately we've not had the northern corn leaf blight pressure that I would prefer to have in some of those test plots, but I know that's pretty much its strong suit, and I've talked to plenty of those people that have looked at that. So it's definitely, and it's a very interesting product, application practice, and how its effectiveness works through the plant for a pretty extended period of time is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it's totally different when talking fungicides, just from, typically when I think of fungicide, I think of a late season application instead of something going out at planting or in a side dress application. So it's going to be a different space to work in. It's been fun to learn. I'm fairly new to FMC and fairly new to learning Xyway. I think it's been on the market 3 years, but this is the first year we've looked at it, extensively as a side dress solution for growers.
Yeah, and just so everybody's aware, why did they move towards that application strategy? I mean, there was some reasoning behind that.
Yeah, no, I think when they launched, I think we stubbed our toe a little bit because we had an in-furrow recommendation, or FMC had an in-furrow recommendation, and we learned quickly we don't want to be in-furrow. We still have growers that are using it in furrow. We don't recommend it going in furrow at all. We want it either in a 2x2 or a furrow jet system, something that gets the Xyway and starter fertilizer at least a ½ inch off the seed at planting. But there's not a lot of growers running 2x2 or furrow jet systems on their corn planters. So that's why we've kind of transitioned to a side dress method of application.
What's been the most general application strategy with Xyway? How have farmers changed into that system, or really morphed into something now that you're talking about?
Yeah, so, Tom, like I mentioned, we started off in furrow, and we do not want to go in furrow, don't recommend it. So a lot of people, that have the 2x2 system, that have a furrow jet system, are doing it at planting with their liquid starter fertilizer. So it's going out ½ inch from the seed at planting. This side dress 2EE label that we're utilizing now is going out in a knife rig 6 inches away from the corn plant is where we want it. One call out on a best management practice, if you want to try it, is we need to have a pretty precise side dress application. So we need to have like a hydraulic pump on the sprayer or on the tank with an agitation system. We need to keep it agitating. We don't really want to be using ground-driven pumps just due to the variability in some of the rates that can be applied.
Being used in a side dress like that, there's obviously some flexibility on the timing related to performance then, because there's a pretty wide range. I say wide range, but there is a range of timings for a side dress fertilizer application.
Right, yeah, and I think most people are probably going out between V3 and V5. We're trying to get it out by V4, is our recommendation if we're using Xyway in a side dress. Just gives time for that corn plant to take it up, translocate it to the top of the canopy, as well as stay in the lower portion of the canopy.
And I would think nice thing there is you're basically going to extend the efficacy of that product if you put it out a little bit later.
Yeah, I would think. Tom, we've seen good results at the 2x2 at planting, so I think we're still getting season-long control at planting, but I'm with you. If we delay it to V4, we're going to have more flutriafol present, when we get that late season heavy disease pressure that we typically get or sometimes get here in the Mid-South.
Yeah, and I think, pretty much anybody knows that we've had a conversation about it. Its one weakness is the fact that it's not going to work on southern rust.
Right.
But it does work on, northern cornleaf blight, gray leaf spot, and that's definitely important in areas where a farmer may have had a historical issue with those particular diseases, because they're not always problematic, but there are some places in Mississippi where they can be problematic. And I certainly know, like with Trey Price at LSU, he always points out that northern cornleaf blight's a bigger issue in northeast Louisiana than it is in the southern Delta. So there's definitely that, and that's important to consider.
Tom, is this a novel concept? I don't know of another one. I've never heard y'all talk about another one that is used quite like this. In application, timing, technique.
Is. Absolutely. It's not something that we're generally accustomed to. When Don Johnson worked for FMC and he called and he said, man, we're going to put that out with a 2x2. I'm like, well, we don't have one of those. We're going to have to rig something up to take care of that, because it's just not an application strategy that we use from a plant pathogen standpoint.
I feel better now, because when y'all were talking about it, I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. But
it's a rarity that we kind of put you back on your heels on things.
Hey, it happens. So, Lawson, you mentioned some of your sales guys that are in the area. So tell folks a little bit about FMC structure and what their point of contact if they need to talk to somebody about some of these products.
South Mississippi, I'll start south, work north. We have John Lee. He's the retail marketing manager. He's going to be the point of contact for everybody in South Mississippi. Then you have Peyton Pfizer covering the Delta portion of Mississippi, and then Leighton McCullers in the east portion of Mississippi. So those are the three guys you can contact, ask questions about any products, or myself, I cover Mississippi from a technical service standpoint.
You have Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana?
And the Boot Hill of Missouri.
In Missouri, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Small region.
Small.
And Lawson lives outside of Little Rock, so he's not too far away.
No, about 3 hours from everywhere.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's a good statement. Anything else you think you need to cover this morning with us?
Y'all may have seen it come through a couple blog posts and whatnot. FMC's come out with a new mode of action herbicide for use in rice. Teflupyrolimet's going to be the active name. So we submitted a registration in early November for that product. So that's something to look forward to. Again, we're going to have to wait till we can use it commercially till the EPA grants approval. But, we've had work with Jason and others, weed scientists across the South already. So
any timeline on that happening?
Well, it's hard to predict what's going to happen from a regulatory standpoint, but typically after submission to commercial use has been kind of that 2-year time frame. ESA, others may change it up. So kind of at the mercy. We've submitted the packet and waiting for approval.
Lawson, thanks, man. Thanks for coming over to Starkville this week. Hope y'all get value out of being here, and we certainly appreciate the sponsorship and then too the support that y'all give all of our programs, whether it's Stoneville, Starkville, or wherever across the state.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having us. We're happy and proud to be part of it.
Thank you so much.
The Mississippi Crop Situation Podcast is a production of Mississippi State University Extension.